For the belated finale to Swordtember, and thank you for your patience. We hope you've been enjoying the first of our Patreon episodes in the meantime. We'll be slowly releasing formally paywalled Patreon episodes throughout the rest of 2025, so there's plenty more to look forward to. Before we get to the episode, I wanted to share the newest trailer for Plain Our Prod's other show, The Attic Monologues, an urban fantasy/horror audio drama on fate, friends to lovers, meta-narratives, and feathered friends. The show is written by Morgan and directed, voiced, and sound designed by some of the most talented people I know. It's just kicked off its third season, so if you're looking for more queer genre fiction, now's a fantastic time to give the show a listen. So without further ado, here's the trailer, after which we'll get started on today's episode of The Hidden Bookcase.
Let us take stock of our characters as we enter our third act. There is, of course, you, plucky protagonist, finally beginning to wake to your own ability. You have rescued an innocent soul from the clutches of hell, and in the heady bloom of that power, believe yourself in control. There is your lover, your betrayer, a girl you will ache to hold close, but have nonetheless cast away. You haven't seen her in a while, have you? It hurts, doesn't it? To believe she is obeying your wishes, but does not love you enough to climb your walls. There is your mentor, who can see the eye of the storm for what it is paralyzed by what must come next. Beside him, of course, is your sage, who builds storm shelters around him and forgets to make room for the rest of the world. There is your anchor, a boy so certain of his place, he reminds you of the real world with a single word. Who, perhaps, is beginning to wonder why he must always be the one to hold others down when he so aches to let go. After him, we have the innocent. She who walked into hell because it told her it would be kind. Who has basked in the dirt and come away tarnished. You worry about her endlessly to fill your days, with no idea of how to fix her or even if she wants to be fixed. We have the outlaw who smolders brighter with every passing day, waiting for you to provoke me, or vice versa, so he can set fire to us all and hopefully martyr himself in the flames. And lastly, the instigator, who barges into her role so effortlessly, with no clue she has even tangled herself in its web. She has made herself a weapon in the name of family, which rarely ends well. A host of others populate this narrative, but for now they are as fleeting as footnotes. I have written their stories before, or have no interest in doing so. All of this to say, the stage is set, my dear protagonist. The storm is on the horizon, the strings held tight, everyone in a holding pattern, waiting for you to move. Let the show play on.
Welcome to the Hidden Bookcase. Come through and get cozy. Pick a book, your favourite book, that's the one that opens this room. Inside you'll find a warm fire, a loving cat, and a wide skylight of stars.
And a dangerously high to be read file.
I'm Morgan, I use they them pronouns, and I am blackmailing my son's best friend to tell me who his crush is.
I'm Soren, I use he him pronouns, and you will find me in the library, if you remember where that is.
We've been friends for over a decade and are always swapping books.
Each episode we take it in turns to recommend one another a favourite read. This month is Swordtember.
So today let's get to talking about
In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan.
Da, da, da.
So Morgan, how did you find In Other Lands?
I think I must have found it on one of those like Portal Fantasies, queer books, Portal Fantasies lists on Tumblr or something like that. I remember seeing it sort of around and being like, oh, that's one of those books that they've only published in America, so I'll never read it. Where was me? And then I managed to order it through work, and it sat on my shelf for months, possibly years. And then And then this year, actually, was the first time I read it.
Oh.
I got the hold through from the Queer Liberation Library as an audiobook.
I see.
And so I listened to it as an audiobook first, which I do highly recommend if you can get hold of it. Unfortunately, the audiobook is not for sale in the UK. Really helpful. But the narrator is very, very, very good. So I do highly recommend. And very much captures Eliot's sarcasm. And then for this, I reread it because I couldn't get the audio hold in time. So I finally read it physically. And now my book actually looks like I've read it and looks like it's gone through the wars. And that's how I read it. That's how I found it.
There you go. Were you chasing the Seanan McGuire high of queer portal fantasy?
I think so. I kind of was just like, I need to read portal fantasies because I want to write portal fantasies, and because I have such a vested interest in portal fantasies because I'm a Narnia kid at heart.
There you go.
And especially deconstructions of portal fantasies, I feel like is always good soup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think because Sarah Rees Brennan has published a new book recently.
Yes,
Long Live Evil. Yeah, which looks very different.
I'm very intrigued by it as like, I don't know, I've been hearing mixed things. I was reading some reviews, but I'm very intrigued, especially having not read this.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not really interested in it. And then I read this and was like, now I'm interested in it. So
I was also surprised that that Brennan is the one that does the fence books. They're graphic novels, I think, that then also got like adapted into novels. And I think she writes the adaptations into novels.
Ooh.
Which I only realized because I was at the library and I was like, hang on, I know that name now. What's going on?
That's fun. I assumed that Sarah Rees Brennan was American until reading the bio at the back. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
I mean, to be fair, this has a very British feel to it. So I was like unsure because of the rights being in America. I kind of just assumed as well.
Yeah. The rights being in America. I feel like there were like one or two things where I was like, that doesn't sound very British. But, you know, Ireland is Ireland. So they have slightly different bits. So I apologize. I think after reading Carry On, like the Simon Snow books.
Yes.
And Rowell being American, but somehow actually doing a decent job at portraying Watford. I don't trust anybody anymore. But no, this is good.
Americans can write London well.
Oh, well, steady on. Don't call Watford London.
That's true. I'm not calling Watford London, just to be clear.
Some people would. Some people would. I was thinking about Americans who had written London badly, what I was saying. Oh, yes.
But not all of them.
Familiar.
Anyway. Shall we listen to my guesses, my predictions?
Yes, I'm very excited for this.
I can't remember what on earth I predicted, so we'll see. It's 2 minutes long somehow, so...
Ooh. I feel like this is one of those books where I was just like, I was so trying to get people to read it that I was just like dropping loads of stuff and being like, and this, and this.
There you go.
Yeah, like I was reading it at my friend Tia's work because I just sit with her sometimes and just reading out passages to her occasionally, being like, Tia, you have to read it. Look what he said to the boy that he doesn't like. Look, but they're going to fall in love. And she was like, okay, Morgan. But yes, let us listen to your mind.
In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. I feel like I know absolutely nothing about this, but that's probably not true. So let's get into what I do know. Portal fantasy, know that. Think it follows the main character over like several different ages because it's not YA, but I feel like at some point the protagonist is a teenager. Don't know if there's more than one protagonist, that's entirely possible. Could just be one. I know that it won the Bisexual Book Award, I want to say in 2019. So bisexual, somehow, presumably the protagonist again, if it's won the award. I feel like it must be fairly prominent rep. There's a mermaid on the cover, that's pretty cool. I assume that means there are mermaids. We're doing it for Swordtember, so there's definitely swords. I think it's going to be like a portal fantasy with like multiple other worlds in it. I think it's not just one. I don't even know if the protagonist is going to start in our world, but I think it's going to be about like moving between worlds, something like that. I'm very specifically picturing the scene in The Magicians where they go through all of the different like ponds and they turn up in different worlds. For some reason I feel like it's going to be something to do with that. Like maybe that's like the specific magic that the protagonist has, is like moving between the worlds and traveling between them, and maybe there's like some relationships or something between like these various dimensions, like a war or even an alliance or something, that they're the only one that they can sort of like broker that. I don't know. I'm just tossing things out there. We're kind of already into wild predictions. I also have a vague inclination that there's some good fat rep in this, but I don't know if that's true. I just feel like it was mentioned at one point in a previous episode, but I also might be confusing it with another book, so that's kind of just being tossed out there. My wild prediction is, I feel like I've already made some very like baseless wild predictions. I'm gonna say that one of the worlds is gonna be like Regency inspired, but in like a Ren Fair kind of way, like in like a Arthuriana way, where this is like a little bit silly and a little bit like turned up to 11. But that's actually going to be like how that world works and functions. Let's get into it. Nope.
Nope.
I think I was just like lands plural, sure.
Yeah. You know, do the other lands actually make sense as an economy in any way, shape, or form? No.
I don't feel like we find out very much about...
Well, yeah, this is true.
The economy. It does confuse me how they're just living in a really big field. Like, how big is the field? What's going on?
I want a map.
Who's farming? Like,
This
somebody
is my
has
question.
to be... Yeah, somebody has to be farming in the very big field. Where are you getting your food?
Exactly.
this is actually
Resource
like
wars.
It's a fairly low magic kind of setting, actually. People are kind of just doing what they're doing. So, you know, but no, I was very wrong on the idea of there being multiple portals. I think I was also confusing it with Beneath the Sugar Sky, because that also has mermaids, question mark?
Yes, it does.
That's what happened. That's what happened there. So,
that makes sense.
there you go.
Solved it.
It's all explained. That gives us like no jumping off points because it was so out of left field. It was bisexual.
Was bisexual. I don't think I knew if this was, I mean, I knew it was queer because it was on the Queer Liberation Library, but I'm not sure I actually knew going in that it was queer. Which is, you know, a fun
I guess something can be on the Queer Liberation Library and be just like a little bit queer. Like a little bit depends, you know, but it's like very queer.
Yeah. Especially when Elliot starts being like, wow, that beautiful boy who I hate so much with his golden hair.
I mean, like, obviously I was like, oh, okay, the protagonist is probably bisexual, so obviously I was like inclined to think that, but like the minute they interacted, I was like, these two are in love with each other. This is crazy.
I love them.
They do the obliviousness thing very well.
The miscommunication thing, I feel like it's similar to this is going to sound really out of left field, but in the Last Binding trilogy, when in the first book you kind of absolutely hate Jack because you're like, he's so mean, he's so horrible, and then you get to book 3 and you find out that he just thought that they were bantering the whole time, but they have very different traumas and communications, and actually he thought it was all in good fun. I feel like that's the dynamic here, where Elliot's like, yeah, you know, he's perfect, so like obviously he's not going to take what I say seriously, and then he's like, oh no, whoops,
and accidentally bullying him for 7 years. I don't know how many years. For several years. As you do, you know.
They're so well balanced.
Yeah. I feel like if you really, really hate miscommunication, this might get on your nerves, but I feel like it's because they're like young teenagers that it kind of works.
It works.
You're sitting there like, oh my god, like when I'm forgetting his name now, when Luke's older brother comes on to Elliot, and Elliot's like, oh my god, this fool just tried to kiss me, this was ridiculous. And then Luke gets like really upset, and you can tell he's upset because he thinks that maybe Elliot's homophobic. And it's like, he's not homophobic, he just doesn't want to kiss your brother. That's all it is.
He was just kind of sexually assaulted. Give him a second.
Yeah, give him a moment. And Luke's freaking out because he was like, oh my god, he hates gay people. And it's like, no, he is gay people. He's bisexual people, but he's gay people.
Literally, the whole like extended sequence where Luke's mad at him for coming out as bisexual in front of everybody because he's like, wow, I can't believe you just like say that. Yeah. And Luke and Elliot's like, I did it to repay you for the fact that you also did the exact same thing. I wasn't lying. Literally.
Also, Luke kind of just deciding that he likes Dale Wave Chaser so he doesn't have to address the fact that he's in love with Elliot is hilarious. And it's like, you have to tell me who you like. And he's like, Dale, I guess. And he's like, oh, well, haven't you done anything? He's like, well, I just decided right now. And Elliot's like, well, I guess that's normal.
Yeah, totally normal.
Sure.
Absolutely average experience right there.
Absolutely.
Oh, my boys. It was so refreshing to have the character who'd usually be like the sidekick who everybody ships like the fandom bicycle be actually quite horny for the whole book and actually like have good game.
Yes, honestly.
Like, because Elliot himself thinks of himself as such like a little gremlin. Yeah. And yet everybody's attracted to him.
I mean, he gets with quite a few people. He does.
He gets with quite a few people. And, he's got his complex in the background being like, they would really rather be with Luke. But, a lot of the time, especially with like the Harpies.
Yeah. Maybe that's projection, Elliot. Maybe you would rather be with Luke.
Maybe. Why are you thinking about Luke when you're having sex with other people? Just saying.
It's like, goddamn, if only Luke was here. I mean, what? I mean, I hate him, so that's unrelated. But I really liked that he actually dated Serene for a bit. I feel like that would also like never be a thing in so many other books. Like they wouldn't let that happen, particularly if it was on the route. Fantasy does have a little bit of a problem with being like, everybody has to be soulmates and you're not allowed to be with other people if you're not endgame. Or if you are with other people, it's like you're with somebody and then maybe there's like a dalliance with somebody else. And then you go back to your original person, I feel like.
Yeah.
One exception actually being The Court of Thorns and Roses, but we won't go there. But I appreciated that like he actually did get with her for a little bit. And obviously it wasn't on the terms that they both hoped it would be. But it did still happen.
Yes. And they communicated well once they realised that they'd miscommunicated, which I appreciated. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that they became friends afterwards as well.
Yes. All the cultural difference stuff in general was very fun.
Yes, let's talk about it. Oh my god. It's so funny.
I was just immensely enjoying everything that Serene said and being like, listen, I'm not a gender essentialist, so I don't actually believe this. However, she is making some points.
Yeah, she has logic to back it all up.
She does have logic to back it all up.
So good. Like, yeah, men can't expel their dark urges through their menses. So sometimes they have mood swings.
Real. Me now that I'm on testosterone.
Oh, just every time. The delicate sensibilities of men. And Elliot being like, yes, I do have very delicate sensibilities, thank you.
Elliot playing into it was so funny. Especially how immediately down for it he was. It was like in that first conversation with her where he was like, I'm going to come in and rescue her. And then she was just like, no, here's my worldview. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm so ready to be your damsel in distress. Great, fantastic. Rescue me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I love as well how she sort of like slowly begins to deconstruct it. And Elliot's like, I have to be proud of her for the fact that now she will admit that she has a feeling. She doesn't hide it, and she allows us with our delicate sensibilities to process her feelings with her.
She's getting through her toxic femininity.
Exactly. But she's not perfect by the end as well. Like, she's still pretty misandristic, I guess.
Yes. Although I have hope for, I can't remember the name of her love interest. Her endgame, what's his name?
That one. Golden hair.
Yeah.
I love
Golden. Golden for sure, right?
Golden.
I feel like he will help her get there.
Yes. I love how Elliot, once he met Golden, was like, oh yeah, no, okay, I get it. I like this guy. I think he's actually going to give Serena a run for her money.
Honestly, so cute. I want to see them all like hanging out. I want double dates.
I need more.
Absolutely.
I need them as adults. They're menaces as children. They're going to be insane as adults.
Exactly. They'll have no supervision whatsoever. Not that they have much supervision to begin with, but they're all kind of just doing things.
I feel like this book takes that trope of the adults are useless, so the kids have to get everything done, but actually kind of does it from a more adult point of view. Because I feel like in a lot of the kids' books, it's kind of just like the kids are doing it and the adults aren't really there to get in the way. They're just sort of like pushed to the side so the kids can get done. Whereas in this book, the adults are there and the kids are actively having to manipulate them in order to get done.
Yes.
It's just fun.
It is. The adults are like an obstacle, and they're also an understandable obstacle because sometimes it is just like, let's make all of the adults like a bit useless to the point of ridiculousness. But it's like, no, these adults have been indoctrinated into a very like violent and extremist culture that is like very identity focused. I want to say nationalist, but they're not really a nation. But they've got their own thing. They're also very sexist, so that's not enabling the women in positions of power to help as much as they maybe would otherwise be able to. There's reasons that the adults are being actively unhelpful.
Sometimes you just have to like drug a guy so that you can get a treaty written, you know?
Sometimes you do.
We've all been there.
I do feel like it was very refreshing to have anyone in a fantasy setting being like, what if we just don't all stab each other with swords, though? There's other things that you can do. Did you know?
Yeah. I feel like I've very rarely seen a nuanced take on a pacifist character. I feel like people love to just go like hippy dippy, like, oh yeah, I don't like violence. I hate violence. I'm going to be really meek and quiet in the corner. How about we will hug it out? Whereas this guy's like, no, I'm going to fucking yell at you. I'm going to throw knives at you.
I'm going to throw knives at you because we shouldn't fight.
Because we shouldn't fight.
And he's right.
And then the slow realizations of like, oh, Luke like almost threw up when he first killed somebody, and now it's like casual violence. And witnessing all of that death and sort of actually processing that like my friends are like 14 and they could die any second. And there's always another war.
Yeah.
Oh, made me feel sick. Brackets pause. So good.
I'm kind of surprised that I haven't seen more diplomatic characters in general. And then, yeah, I do feel like when you get them, they do tend to be a bit like, why can't we all just be friends? Whereas Elliot's like, I'm going to forge signatures. I'm going to edit treaties. I'm going to cause chaos.
We're to mistranslate things left, right, and centre.
His voice is also very entertaining throughout. I feel like at the beginning I was a bit like, oh no, is this guy going to annoy me? But he didn't. He was just too much fun.
Yeah. I feel like it could become very annoying in the same way of when we were reading Running Close to the Wind.
Yes,
that
he reminded me of that.
Annoying.
Yeah.
But because it's just so consistent and it never like points and laughs at itself or sort of pokes fun and goes, haha, look, I'm doing a sassy character. It's just like, no, this is how Elliot thinks and speaks and talks. And he's very consistent with it.
I think also the fact that people, and I think this is also a trait of Running Close to the Wind now that I think about it, people react realistically to his voice. There are people who do get annoyed by it or call him out on things. There are people who do misunderstand him and misunderstand his intentions, like Luke, throughout like the entire book because of the way that he talks. I think it's like if everyone was like, if he made his little sarcastic remarks, it was like, and then everyone clapped because he's so cool and he fights the system. But actually, like, most people don't like him because of the way that he is.
Yeah.
And he has to navigate that, which is quite sad.
Most people are like, you're just a weird little freak. Okay. We've adjusted to you now.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the same thing of how, like, when I'm talking about YA books, a lot of the time I like to talk about how in high school settings, a lot of the time it feels like the characters don't know each other until the book starts.
Yeah.
And they should have this layer and layer of history. and this book I feel like does it well, where by the time you're introduced to characters, even if you're introduced to them in like the final year of the school or whatever, you still feel like Elliot has history with them.
Yeah.
Like side characters are done so well in this. Like there are so many characters in this book.
Yeah, there are a
like
lot.
They were all well characterized.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of subtly, very carefully, like drip feeding you information about characters so that when they do become important, you're like, I know this guy.
Mm.
Or like I at least have some preconceptions about this guy that may be proven wrong, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of the relationship that exists here, or the lack thereof. So
yeah, like you know about Golden way before you're introduced to him. You know about Michael Sunborn. The icon himself. You know, Adara and Myra and Peter and all the other kids. It's good soup.
Crazy as well that the Sunborns just have a reputation for being thirsty. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, you know them. And Luke's just like, Christ, please don't associate me with this.
Elliot looking at Luke and then looking at the rest of his family and then looking at Luke and being like, oh, okay, interesting. I don't understand how you've ended up like this.
Elliot also just like refusing to stop misreading Luke's personality for so long. It's also extremely funny. Like when his mum is like, oh yeah, my shy little Luke. And Elliot's like, that's very strange, but you seem to have just called Luke shy. And then it's like, yeah, Luke has no friends apart from you and Serene, and you both talk to him. Like, I don't know what you think is going on here.
Luke doesn't remember Myra and Peter's names, and he's been at school with them for 3 years.
Me in school, to be honest.
It's so entertaining. Luke is he just wants peace and quiet. And he's like, how? I don't want any friends, if anything. And suddenly I've ended up with 2. What is happening?
The 2 strangest people here.
Weirdos. When they like meet Adara, and I think it's Adara or maybe Myra. One of them who is like, oh yeah, you guys are the weirdos. Like you are the weirdo clique.
Yeah.
Well done. I think it might be his mum, actually. Yeah. It's been like, yeah. Unfortunately, you do have a trope. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it is his mum, isn't it? He's like, you are strange, which is hilarious. I also love that kind of subversion because I feel like it's such a common trope. Particularly, like, I feel like it's a big portal fantasy trope as well. I read one yesterday, Girl Haven, which is a graphic novel that had that exact thing of like, my mother went off to the portal fantasy land and I am missing a connection with her and I'm looking for her kind of thing. And I was like, there it is. That also kind of did subvert it a bit. I won't spoil it for people that might want to go and read it. But this was like a very unusual subversion, I think, in that it was like, yeah, here she is. You found her. She was here the whole time. She's not really interested in a relationship. That's it. Yeah.
Which was gut-wrenching. But also the way that Elliot sort of goes, oh, of course. No one else has ever wanted me. Why would my mum want me either?
No.
My boy!
Elliot. I want to beat up his older boyfriend from the real world.
Yeah. I did love that, though. I love the sort of Elliot realizing, oh, he is a coward who specifically chose me because I was younger.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't want to have to come out or do anything difficult. And he thought that I would be bendable. And then all of his friends being like, you're actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Have good vibes. But yeah.
Even just the element of having him returning to the real world was something I really loved. Like, it's so unique to have a portal fantasy have that. Like, I actually cannot think of any that do that in this way, where it's like, oh, it's a choice. You can come back and you have some leeway to like figure it out, where you get to move back and forth.
The good stuff.
And I did appreciate Elliot like taking note of all of the practicalities. He's like central heating, pencils, music. Like there's things that I don't want to be leaving, despite the fact that I have no emotional ties to the mundane world.
Yeah. Elliot going interrailing with strangers for 3 months.
So funny. And he's just like, no, sorry, you're bringing me with you. And they're like, we don't know you. We haven't seen you in 6 years. And he's like, hi, here I am. Thank goodness.
And then they kind of bond. And they vibe. And then he tries to make out with a girl who thinks he's gay. And they vibe. That was a really cute side friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this book does parental emotional neglect in a good way. I feel like in a lot of books where they want to be like, oh, the main character has a parent who's just sort of very absent, it feels very sort of characterized.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this book, it felt very much sort of like real. I don't know how else to describe it.
I feel like often it's because they haven't written it because they've wanted to write like about like neglect and about like the psychological effects that this would have on a character. They've just done it because they've been like, this is an easy way to get parents out of the picture.
Yeah.
So we won't actually like explore the impacts of this. We're just like, well, because like, why would Elliot be hanging around in this portal fantasy that's kind of a bit terrible if he wasn't neglected? Like, you kind of need that for him to be there, but you could do that and then decide not to like interrogate it further whatsoever. But they don't do that. They actually make it such a fundamental part of his character and like his choices and his worldview and his attitudes.
Yeah. I feel like the fact that it's not introduced off the bat, it sort of just slowly slipped in.
Yeah.
Also works really well. And the fact that he doesn't really tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
There's no sort of like emotional like moment where he's like, guys, I had a bad childhood. And they go, yeah, we know.
I mean, to be fair, they kind of do go, yeah, we know. They're like, we could pick up that maybe things were not great at home, we just didn't ask.
Yeah. But the moment where Luca's like, yeah, because nobody wants you, and Elliot's like, oh, that actually hurt me. And Luke's like, wait, you have feelings that can hurt? So good.
They need to get some therapists across this.
They really do.
Instead of just random children that a French teacher has supplied. What's going on there? I've got many questions about the delivery system. Like, what do the other students think happened? They're like, we went on a field trip. We stopped in a field. It was literally a field trip to a field. We stopped in the field. The French teacher was like, do you see anything in this field? We were all like, no, apart from Elliot, who was like, yes. Then Elliot was sold to a woman, and then we never saw him again.
Honestly, he's so valid for thinking that they had memory magic. Because what else?
Personally, if that happened to a classmate, even if I really didn't like them, I would say something to another teacher. I would. And also, if they just suddenly stopped coming to school, I'd be like,
yeah.
Hey. Indeed, we actually did have a classmate who disappeared for non-nefarious reasons. And I did, in fact, go, hey, to a teacher, I'm not friends with this person, but are they okay? And they were like, yeah, I can't tell you about what's going on, but everything's good. And I was like, great, fantastic. Maybe they asked the French teacher, and she was like, yeah, everything's great. I got $100.
Crazy stuff.
What a world. It is crazy that anyone would stay in the child soldier camp, though. Maybe you have to be going through it a little bit to see the wall in the first place, because otherwise I feel like their dropout rate would be like crazy. As soon as people realize they're on video games, as Elliot pointed out, to the tears of the children.
So real, to be honest. Like, the fact that he's the only person who's like, I'm going to experiment, I will find a way to bring microwaves to this world.
Yes.
What is everyone else doing?
Iconic.
I feel like I've said I feel like too much, but this book approaches magic school and other worlds the same way The Magicians does. I think the TV show, not the books as much, but it's in that sort of way of being very genre aware in the main character and being very sort of cynical about it. And actually addressing like what happens if you try to get to magic school and then don't make it into magic school. You know, where do the people go? But luckily they have memory magic in The Magicians. Not that it works, but they have it. They make an attempt.
They try.
They just don't account on Julia Wicker being as insane as she is. You know? I
feel like one of the reasons this works so well, though, because yes, it's like a deconstruction and it's like interrogating the genre conventions, but like you can also tell that the person who wrote it does love fantasy. And that comes through in Elliot being like, wait a second, there are mermaids here, there's harpies here, this is so cool, there's a unicorn here. Maybe it tries to kill me, but that's okay.
Yeah, he just wants to see magic, even if it tries to kill him. And everyone else being like, you don't want to meet harpies? And he's like, no, I do.
I absolutely do.
I really do.
In fact, I'm going to kiss harpies.
Iconic. The fact that he is so in love with magic and the world, and Luke just can't fundamentally understand that. And so when Elliot gets really excited about Luke being half harpy and is like, yeah, I'd make out with a harpy, and Luke being like, you'd kiss that? You'd kiss a monster? And Elliot being like, you need to unpack that, my guy. I think harpies are hot. Just saying. I feel like it's so... They're so well matched. Because it's the logical progression of Elliot being like, yeah, all fantasy magic is cool. All magical animals are cool. All magical animals are people, actually. And it's a very good sort of progression from a character. It's a very core character trait of his. It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere.
No.
Yeah. And then he does the research for him. And then Luke's like, I can't be seen reading books. And the fact that the fact that Luke has a reputation for always being in the library, and the rest of the Sunborns are like, that boy doesn't... what? He doesn't like libraries. And everyone's like, yeah, he's in the library. Because he's in love with a nerd. I love him. But yes, love language being making your friends very big packs of information and research that you have done about their culture. Incredible. Beautiful. I love the little art at the beginning of every chapter.
Very cute.
Because I originally read it as an audiobook, so I hadn't seen the art before.
Oh, there you go.
So flicking through the second time, I was like, oh.
I will say, you do see Luke with his wings before they do the harpy reveal in the art, and I was like, well, okay.
Also really just like, it's very unceremonious. It goes straight from, yes, you should get your back looked at, straight to, he's got wings.
Yep.
Which is like, okay. Hello.
Kind of a reveal that the art gives you.
I think that might be one of those things where you can tell that this was originally written as like short story blog post type stuff.
Yeah.
As far as I could see from the author's note. In which people might have already known, like the audience themselves might have been like already aware of the fact that Luke was a harpy.
Yeah. I wonder what was going on in like the fan zeitgeist while that was happening. That must have been interesting to like see it coming out like part by part.
That would be fun.
Maybe like how is it going to
end? I have to say, not a fan of the cover.
I don't dislike it. I think it's fine.
I just don't think it does the book justice. I don't think it makes it clear what the book is actually about. I think mermaids are a very small part of this book, and having a half-naked woman on the front of the cover really just does not compute with the rest of the book.
No, it doesn't really give the vibe. Also, like the mermaids are kind of spooky and
not hot. This is a very conventionally attractive mermaid.
I mean,
yeah, they're still hot, but this is a very conventionally attractive mermaid as opposed to spooky hot mermaid.
Yes.
Also, the white, the blue, I feel like there's not enough colour going on here.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just feel like it should be more sort of like nature-y or just, I really don't like books with white background covers. I just is a thing.
That's
but
fair.
I think especially this is very simplified.
Yeah. I am trying to think of what would work better, and I am actually struggling. I'm like, this feels like a very difficult book to like come up with symbols for. I think maybe because you actually don't get a lot of like, Elliot is very focused on people and creatures and such, but isn't really like describing very much about how the camp looks. You're just like, that's tense. And that's kind of it.
Yeah. I feel like you could do something with the wall.
The wall.
Or something like that.
Maybe.
Or even just like a horizon of trees.
Or even, the art of the trio at the beginning.
Yeah, just like a cute little sketch.
I was kind of sad that Elliot didn't stay short. Very subjective, and I was just like, I just want him to be a short king.
So real.
I want Serene to be taller than him.
Yeah. Elliot's one of those characters where I look at him and I go, I can headcanon you as trans. I can headcanon you as trans. The small male rage, I feel like he has it.
Small man syndrome.
I don't know. I just feel like how like self-aware and chill he is gives me very much like a good headcanon you.
Yeah, I think also his like willingness to like play with gender in a way that like a lot of the other characters aren't, in terms of like he's so ready to just like not debase himself, but like when he's talking to the elves, he's like, oh, I can just switch into this mode, that's fine. Like I will just mask essentially and just be like, I just need help. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he's good at code switching quite easily.
Yeah.
Feels like he's learned the social contract and gone, aha, I can manipulate this to my own benefit.
Exactly.
Feels like he could be in like Tumblr forums at the age of 10 going bisexuality, ? Trans, ? He's done all of his exploration. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Good soup.
Figured it out.
He's figured it out. Also his complete lack of respect for like misogyny in the way of like testosterone boys.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very queer coded. Yes. How did I get into this? I don't know.
Trans, Elliot.
I just love to headcanon people as trans, you know? I'm like, I like this male character. He's trans now.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hits you with my trans wand.
I was thinking it'd be a beam.
Beam.
Beam. Laser beam.
Yes. Fitz from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Buck and Eddie from 911. Every single character in the Magnus Archives.
I feel like I was also very impressed by like how Elliot's voice, he stays very true to himself and his own cadence. But I feel like he ages quite believably over the course of the book, which is hard because he's only a baby at the start, and then he's like almost an adult by the end of it.
Yeah. I feel like it's especially impressive considering how much of a precocious child he is.
Yeah.
He's very much sort of like much better spoken than most 13-year-olds and much more sort of politically aware, one could say. And yet you still feel like he consolidates those ideas and actually learns how to voice and debate those ideas better as the book goes along. And emotional maturity as well, going from, oh, obviously me and Serena are going to be in love forever to, oh, okay, maybe not.
I love that interaction that he has with Luke early on where he's like, no, we're soulmates, we're meant to be together. And Luke's like, that's weird, we're 12. It's just like, dude, what's wrong with you?
The fact that Elliot's like, yeah, I've already named our children, and then forgets, and then 4 years later, Luke's like, what about Smooth Jazz? And Elliot's like, what?
Smooth Jazz in the
most
art of
important
battle.
Hypothetical child. Yes.
The elf naming convention's also very cool.
Yes. Serene chaos in the heart of battle.
Love them.
No.
Also love that Bright Eyes Glad in the Hearts of Women got his little moment at the end.
He did. Yeah.
Where he got rescued. Good for him.
He's like, I'm not a hussy. I am saving myself for marriage.
He's learned nothing about the expectations of his culture possibly being restrictive and wrong, but I hope he's happy.
Elliot being like, I need to know how to please elven women, and Bright Eyes like, you are accusing me of being and he's like, no, I want to be a let me be I'm trying to obtain pornographic literature. Do you have any? So real of him.
Poor Elliot.
Yes. I really love that one of the things that makes Elliot go, hang on, maybe not with me and Serene, is the fact that he realizes that he's going to have to raise the kids. And then he's like, Luke can raise our kids. And then doesn't process that any further.
No, he's like, Luke should be the father of my children. And then
I can imagine Luke and Elliot having kids, though. And Elliot, like, still being very snarky, but also being like a really good dad.
That whole interaction where they rescue the child from the troll, very cute.
Panic.
You can see them having a little dynamic. I believe it.
Yeah.
There was a point in time in this, though, where I was angling for Polly. I was like, maybe. And then I was like, this did come out a few years ago. I don't know. I don't think so. But I believe there's a world where it could work.
I see it.
Golden can get in on this too. It's fine.
You know? I think they'd all be down. You know?
Golden did say, he had that little comment about finishing school or whatever. He was like, what do you think we do?
Serene scandalized. Well, also, Serene and Elliot work well together, you know? They could be like...
Yeah, they don't have to be like...
We've already established that this is a very polynorm society with Luke's parents.
Yes. Although, to be fair, I don't know how norm that really was. I don't know. They were like, Elliot, this is so normal and so fine. Don't tell Luke, by the way. And I was like, okay, what's happening?
I feel like that's just because they're like, our son is a prude, unfortunately. We don't know where he gets it from.
I was wondering if it was the Harvey thing.
This is true. This is also true.
You know,
I read it as them thinking he was a prude.
But surely he would just know. They would have told, if they were like worried about that it would be too late, because you would just be like open about it when he was like 7, and then he would grow up to be a prude. You'd be like, well, damn, he doesn't respect our way of life. But we've already, like, I don't know, invited our other significant others over for dinner and stuff. So
Whoops.
he's just aware, but he wasn't aware, which makes me think, I don't know how copacetic this really is. Because she was immediately like, don't tell him.
Elliot and Luke's mum, the bond. You know, unfortunately, I do have to reference J.K. Rowling, but I felt like it was very reminiscent of that dynamic. But it felt like it was done more realistically, I would potentially argue.
I felt like it was more nuanced. It was like, there are certain things going on with her that are not great. Like, for example, hiding your child's heritage from him, maybe not a good idea for various reasons. And then
the adults actually felt like, the adults actually felt like characters as opposed to stand-ins. They're just vibing, they're living their life, and then there are these children who are just causing issues, and they're like, oh, anyway.
Another maternal relationship I loved as well was between Elliot and the commander. No physical affection, barely any verbal affection, but you know she does care about him. By her, like, not immediately kicking him out of her office.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm going to hang out on your roof, and you're just going to have to deal with it. And I can tell that you actually really love me.
Yeah.
No, because we're still talking. Yeah, you actually think of me as your mother. No, other way around. You actually think of me as your child. You know? Cuties. I love them.
Cute. They're very cute.
Yeah. Like, dads in this book, mums in this book. The good stuff.
Serene's mum is kind of annoying, though, to be real. Sorry. She needs to calm down. She needs to calm down a little bit. Also crazy that they find Serene in the forest with the boys, and they're like, good for you for having this threesome. And she's like, I did not do that.
The way that this is one thing, the way that this book treats, like, age gaps, it's like, whoa. Like, it's, like, interestingly critical of the one between
Elliot and
Jace
Jace
and Elliot. But all of these very much older women are being like, I can't believe Serene bedded you. She knew that we were flirting over messages. It's like, you are, what, 30? How old are you? I don't know how elves age, but that is a 14-year-old boy.
Crazy. To be fair, I did think that was kind of supposed to be like a deliberate reflection of, like, how men are with girls sometimes, and it was just like a little deconstruction of that, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to use this because I need the information. I need you to teach me how to speak troll and stuff. But this is not ideal and not reciprocated. It's quite weird.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm like, wow, this is so weird because I'm just not used to seeing it that way around.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think obviously it's weird the other way around as well. But it's just like...
But it's like even more jarring.
Yeah. Nobody else is really calling it out either.
Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, Serene tried to kiss a boy and he slapped her. And you're like, Serene? Did you? How old were you at the time? Do we have to have a conversation?
To be fair, they were pretty little when that happened, weren't they? Okay, I have to ask the question, although I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Who's your favourite character?
It's Elliot.
I'm shocked.
My boy! My boy! I think as well, like, listening to the audiobook, I think the narrator does such a good job of making Elliot the sarcastic little that he is.
Yeah.
And like, even when I was reading it, even though it'd been several months since I'd listened to the audiobook, every time I could hear the cadence, because there's a very specific cadence the audiobook narrator speaks with as well for Elliot. And for example, the fact that like every time he calls Luke loser, it's always loser, in the same way that like in Merlin, for example, Arthur always calls Merlin Merlin, to the point where like people used to italicize the first half of his name whenever Arthur says it in fanfic. It very much felt reminiscent of that. And so my boy who secretly hates himself, but is also like, yes, if I just annoy people, then at least they have to notice me. And just, I feel like he's almost one of those characters who's sunshine coded and then secretly has a tragic backstory, except the opposite of sunshine coded. Not the opposite. Sunshine coded to the left.
Yeah, because he's not like grumpy.
Sunshine coded like lemons instead of sunshine coded like buttercups. You know?
Sunshine coded like, it's really bright out here and it's getting in my eyes. And I can't see.
But secretly tragic backstory. Yes.
Yeah.
The good stuff. Who is your favourite character?
I think it's also Elliot, yeah.
I feel like we've had a good streak of main characters being faves. Yeah. Tell me why. Tell me more.
He's just so good. He's just so fun. I think I really liked like his whole mission, I guess, to be like, no war, we're figuring out another way. And it was just very interesting to like see him trying to achieve that. I liked as well that he was like, I'm going to do this before school finishes. He's ready. He's like, I don't...
On a mission. Yeah.
And his pure-hearted, very sweet motivation being love of his friends at the end of the day is also very sweet because he keeps coming back for them, really.
Yes. This whole book very much feels like that meme of people on TikTok being like, walking like RDM, walking through the con, totally unscared. And then his watchdogs behind him, and it's just like a bunch of very tall people with swords. And it's like, he's got scary dog privilege. And he benefits from that, even if he doesn't like to admit he does.
Funny when they're trying to teach him how to run away, and then later on he's like, oh my god, I was doing it with like an elf and a halfie the whole time. This is crazy. You guys nearly killed me.
He's like, you've been telling me I'm terrible. I can run a 4-minute mile. You've made me a jock against my will. You.
How could they do this to him?
I love that.
Also hilarious that like he's the only one being like, Luke is doing all of these feats of superhuman skill. And everyone else is like, I think that's normal.
Yeah. And the fact that at the first, like, you go, oh, it's just Elliot being his usual, like, over sarcastic self. And then you get to, 16, 17, and you're like, oh, no. That was actually setting up a thing. That was foreshadowing.
Yeah. I mean,
Incredible.
he's doing some stuff that's like, he's like jumping off of cliffs and things unscathed, and it's like, hang on.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that.
I mean, when I first read it, I just went, oh, yeah, it's just Elliot being like, speaking in hyperbole, being like, this is crazy. Jocks are weird.
It's like he jumped off a cliff and it's like a 6-foot drop.
Yeah. That's how I took it.
It's like, I could never do that, so therefore, superhuman strength.
Superhuman strength.
Fair enough.
100%. Crazy stuff. Oh, I just love this book.
I also simply must give a shout out to the entire unicorn debacle scene. It's so silly. What is going on?
Commander Woodsinger was so uncomfortable the whole time.
She's like, this is not
paid enough.
No. Is she paid anything? What is she doing here? Why is she doing this? I want to know more about this woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's also come from the human side. So, like, girl, what was going on? Why are you here?
Who can say?
Who can say?
How old is Commander Woodsinger versus how old is Elliot's mum? Could they have been classmates? Marauders generation.
Could they have
Maybe
been?
They had a toxic sapphic affair.
Yeah, exactly. Lovers perhaps.
And
based on the exact zero interactions they've had in canon.
Elliot's mum flees because she's like, I can't be near you, has Elliot, and then is like, oh no, actually, I will brave being in the same camp as my ex.
Absolutely.
I see it. Should we do our new segment where I check the fanfiction tags?
Oh my god, yes. Please do.
Let's have a look. I am honestly surprised that this book is not more like all over Tumblr. This is such a Tumblr book.
It is.
Then again, I think things like Every Heart a Doorway should be way more all over the internet, and it doesn't seem like they are.
Yeah, I mean, I found out about that one through Tumblr, so in my head it's like a Tumblr thing.
Just doesn't feel very well known.
122?
Okay.
It's also listed here as the turn of the story. I wonder if that's what it was called when it was being web serialized.
Ooh, that's fun.
One of these tags is fluff and humour with like a sprinkling of angst, but just the barest sprinkling, like MSG on fried rice. Just to enhance the flavour, just to make it more delicious.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Top tag being fluff, post-canon, established relationship. I like that. Yes. Top tag being friendship. Incredible.
102 for Elliot and Luke. And then the second most popular couple is Golden and Serene at 13.
And that will be background fix most of the time.
That will probably be them in the background. Crazy.
I do love seeing all of those dashes in their names, though.
It's true.
It's
Golden has scented like summer is his name. Fantastic name.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how the gender comes through in their names, that the men get very like appearance related names, and the women will get like sick battle names.
Yeah. This is a remarkably tame. Is tame the word I'm looking for? Remarkably wholesome tag, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 4 explicit works.
Wow.
Am I going to find out what they are? Yes, I am. Okay, good. I was waiting for that. There is one fic tagged with wing kink. We're all good. Nature is healing.
That's all you needed. You were like, has somebody...
I just need one person.
I mean, Elliot would be all up in that. You know, he basically is in canon. He's touching him.
He's touching him.
He's having a great time. He's delighted.
Mm-hmm. He's like, this is the coolest thing that has ever happened to me.
Also, absolutely hilarious that Luke goes with the liars that they're dating as well. And then Elliot's like, are you joking? I'm trying to school with this Harpy. What are you doing?
Luke's like, I am going to be proprietary and weird about this.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to tell you why. Yeah. I've only read half of the bonus story at the back.
Oh, I don't think my copy had a bonus story.
There's a bonus story, and it's basically those scenes from Luke's point of view. And
Incredible.
So he is basically being like, actually, by the way, we're dating.
I have to track
so don't
this
touch
down.
him.
I have to track this down. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read a library copy. It did not have that.
Oh dear. It's called Wings in the Morning, which I feel like is definitely, you know, I haven't got to the bit where he pops out the wings in the middle of the tent in the morning, but feels like it's a morning wood joke. Just saying.
I do feel like this thing, there's some very fanfiction-y feel about this. Also, in that it's just like very character relationship focused, very slow.
Yes.
Lots of quiet moments are focused. We will stop everything to put on a play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
That's important. That's the good stuff. And you don't really know that much about the actual world. It's kind of just like, you as the reader know the conventions of this genre.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to go.
You know, I do have some questions. Have they invented the printing press yet? If not, why is everyone so careless about books? If so, why don't people care more about books? And but you know, why can everybody read if nobody reads?
This is such a good question.
What's happening? But I don't need to think that deeply about this. You know, it's just not that kind of book, and that's okay.
Vibes. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I'm also writing a portal fantasy, as people may know. And especially in talking with my editor, a lot of his questions were, but how does this world work? And I don't, like, what are the aesthetics? And I was just like, it's just a classic, like, medieval fantasy world, but it's an apocalypse. And he was like, no, but I need you to describe it. I need to know. And I'm like, genre convention vibes. I haven't thought any further than that. And he's like, but you need to. And I'm like, no.
I feel like it depends, right? Like, are you doing the portal fantasy as like a soft, magic-y, emotional thing, maybe, which is more informing where the characters are now? In which case, maybe you don't need to like define every single element of the economy. You know, that's okay. That's fine. You don't need to be like, and this language has 3 dialects, and in one of them, it's not always necessary.
It's very vibes based,
you know. And to be fair, I do feel like the little world-building hints we get in here are quite fun. Like, Elliot talks about like different types of sign language based on different kinds of mermaids, based on if they're deep water or freshwater. And we get things about like how the human culture has shifted and people like take on other lands' names and stuff like that versus keeping one. That stuff is all quite fun.
Yes. Soren. As the new reader, tell me your final thoughts.
My final thoughts are that I had a really good time reading this. I feel like it was very unlike most of the fantasy that I've read, but in a way that was really good in terms of it being really refreshing. I loved the misandry elf nonsense. I loved the characters. I loved the friendship.
Heard it here first, folks.
I love Misandry style.
Misandry.
I love Misandry, full stop. Quote me, put it in the papers. Yeah, I had a very good time. I thought that it was all very conscientious and convincing and coherent character writing. And I felt like that was the heart of it, like seeing these people develop in the context of this magical world and in the context of their shifting relationships. And I think it was beautifully achieved. And I will definitely be going off and reading Long Live Evil. How about you?
Yeah, I think it feels crazy to me that I only read this for the first time this year, because I feel like it's so quickly become like one of my favorite books. It's fun. It feels so different, as you said, to like any other book I've read before. Very much along the lines of Running Close to the Wind, in terms of being like, wow, this is a narrator with a very unique voice who sticks the landing somehow and is a fairly funny fantasy, which again, I feel like we're missing. And I just love a good bit of gay miscommunication. I hate normal miscommunication. Sometimes I hate gay miscommunication too, but I feel like here it works.
It works.
Friends to lovers is the elite trope, especially when you don't even know that you're friends. And you think that you're enemies to lovers, but you're actually friends to lovers. Incredible vibes. Poor Serene, caught in the middle, being like, Jesus Christ.
Honestly. Elliot spending ages just being like, Luke is competing with me for Serene. And Luke's like, I'm a whole homosexual. That's my sword sister.
Homosexual. Exactly. I could never. Serene being like, I need these boys to share a chaste kiss and get their feelings out.
Also, that scene where they're talking about like, oh, our sword sisters is platonic. And then they turn to those 2 other elves who are sword sisters who are like making out on the log. And Luke's like, oh my God.
No. Yeah. Oh, and Elliot like grudgingly learning all the rules to Trigon and being like, I hate this. I hate that I know enough to know that you're winning. This is terrible. I'm here against my will.
Oh my god. Also, I know we're wrapping up, but Elliot's whole thing about, like, I won't watch Luke competing in things because I don't want to see him be hurt. And then Luke's like, you don't care about me. Insane. The best kind of miscommunication, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. What would we recommend for fans of misandry and miscommunication? I know what's going in the episode description of this.
Definitely Running Close to the Wind.
Yes. Absolutely. So funny. So fun.
Definitely Every Heart a Doorway. But if you listen to this and you haven't read that yet, what are you doing here?
If you want more portal fantasy, it's interrogating the genre of portal fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely my book when it comes out.
Yes. Even if you didn't like
3 years
this,
time.
I don't care what you like. You have to read Morgan's book when it comes out. What am I doing?
I read a collection of short stories where one of the stories is about these 2 translators who deliberately mistranslate to opposing sides. Ooh. So that the war doesn't go ahead. And everyone's like, how did this war not go ahead? There's absolutely no way that could have happened. And then it turns out that the 2 translators were in love and were miscommunicating it on purpose. Yes. Beautiful. Found it. Okay. Mm-hmm. My recommendation is New Suns Volume 1, original speculative fiction by people of colour, edited by Nisi Shawl. Specifically, there is a short story in there called The Virtue of Unfaithful Translations by Min-Soo Kang. And that is about 2 translators who deliberately mistranslate their sides' things because they are both in love, and they fix the war by just lying to their respective leaders. And I think it's very parallel to what Elliot is doing.
I mean, he would be doing that if he was given the chance. He doesn't even need a lover on the opposite side. He would just do it because he'd be like, war's bad. I'm just going to not allow this to occur. There you go.
Good vibes. Yeah.
I'm literally so stumped for recommendations. I can't think of anything right now.
No. More portal fantasy. The Magicians TV show. If you were like, would this be better if Luke was on crack? And the answer was yes. You should watch The Magicians.
Fair.
And if Serene was power hungry and insane, but also we love her.
I will say, the only thing that I can possibly think of, a pacifist approach to portal fantasy where someone's like, I'm not going to be the chosen one, I'm just going to hang out here. The Saviour's Book Cafe story is in another world. Sometimes you get like invited into a portal fantasy and God's like, you can have whatever you want. Do you want power? Do you want powers? Do you want to be the princess? What do you want? And she's like, I want a bookshop cafe in the woods. And I just want to chill out.
I've been wanting to read that for years since you've recommended it, but it's sold out everywhere I look. I'm like, no. I just want to read it.
Tragic. I should read more portal fantasy. That's my conclusion.
You should. Portal fantasy elite.
It's so good. I just feel like I don't see it as often as I will want to.
Well, 2020X. I'll be there. Eventually. I just love a good portal fantasy. I'm trying to think of... I mean, a lot of portal fantasies are YA and kids fiction, which is fine, but I feel like I want more stuff like this, where it goes, what if now you're an adult? And things are terrible.
I want more adults pulled into portal fantasy who are like, I have a job, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm busy. I don't have time for this. The good stuff.
So next time, we're going to be putting some of our previously paywalled Patreon content, say that 6 times fast, up on the main feed for everybody to enjoy. And we'll be doing that for a couple of months. And we're starting off with
Queer women and water.
And queer people and water in general, because we kind of got off topic.
Mm-hmm. The ocean is a lesbian.
Queerness and water. But yes, we're discussing Julia Armfield's fantastic essay, The Ocean is a Lesbian. And if you want to read something before that episode, you should listen to our previous episode on Our Wives Under the Sea, and also go read that because it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And read her other collection, Salt Slow.
Yes.
She does love women and water. I think the tagline in the essay was something like, why are all these women so wet?
Who are all these queer women and why are they all so wet?
Yeah. And I think that episode is one of our best. I think we were cooking.
I think we were cooking. So I'm excited for more people to hear it.
Woo!
That will be out on October the 6th.
Yes. But until then, you're always welcome through the bookcase.
Don't forget to scratch the cat on your way out. Thank you for listening to The Hidden Bookcase, a production of Plain Art Prod. On this episode, you heard Morgan Greensmith and Soren Rywood discussing In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. You can find Brennan on Instagram at Sarah Rees Brennan, or visit her website at sarahreesbrennan.com. You can find The Hidden Bookcase on Twitter and Blue Sky at Hidden Bookcase, and on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and TikTok at Hidden Bookcase Podcast. Find out more about Plain Art Prod at plainartprod.com. Know what we should read next, or want to chat to us about what you thought of this episode's read? You can reach us at thehiddenbookcase@gmail.com, send us a DM on social media, or come chat with your fellow bookworms in our growing Discord server. The link is in the show notes. Want to support The Hidden Bookcase? Buy a book through our bookshop.org page, or consider leaving us a rating or review, or telling a friend how to find us. The All Whisper is the best way for bookworms to discover our show. From October, we'll be releasing some of our Patreon content to the main feed, starting off with an episode discussing Julia Armfield's essay, The Ocean is a Lesbian, on October the 6th. We hope to see you then, and in the meantime, you're always welcome through the bookcase.